Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where coins aren't just spare change but secret treasure maps waiting to be decoded. Now let me ask you something, have you ever tossed a penny without looking at it, like just flicked it across the table or into a tip jar like it owed you money? Well, you might want to rethink that habit, because today we're talking about one little copper-colored beauty that's been quietly chilling in pockets, purses and couch cushions across the country. That's right, the 2014 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that looks like it's worth 1 cent but could actually be hiding a whopping $1.1 million value. I'm not kidding, folks, this isn't one of those scammy stories like your uncle's MLM pitch or that email from the prince of a small island country, so stick around, because by the end of this video not only will you know what to look for, but you'll also get a solid strategy for how to turn your coin collection, or your junk drawer, into a gold mine. Alright, so let's get into it. The 2014 Mint Mark Lincoln penny looks pretty ordinary at first glance. You've got Honest Abe on the front, looking presidential as always. He's been rocking that pose since 1909, and frankly he's aged better than most celebrities. Now here's where it gets interesting. Normally coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but for most collectors 2014 pennies are nothing special. Unless of course you come across one of the rare error coins or varieties that slipped past the eagle eyes of the US Mint. The $1.1 million version of this penny isn't your run-of-the-mill coin. It's believed to be an ultra-rare minting error combined with a unique die clash and possibly a double die outburst. That's just fancy coin speak for stuff went sideways at the mint, but in a way that made collectors drool like they just saw a bacon-wrapped taco. Now you might be asking, why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? Is it made of gold? Does it tell the future? Nope, it's still made of mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. It's not psychic and it won't do your taxes, but what it does have is rarity condition and a perfect storm of collector demand. See, coin collectors, known as numismatists, yes, that's a real word, and no, I didn't sneeze just now, go absolutely bananas over coins with rare errors, especially when those errors are clearly visible and the coin is in near perfect condition. One known 2014 Mint Mark penny that sold for $1.1 million had a double die obverse, which means Lincoln's face and the lettering on the coin were slightly duplicated due to a misalignment at the mint. Imagine if you printed your school picture on a copier and sneezed mid-scan. That's kinda what happened here, but with a lot more money on the line. Now let's talk about how you can tell if you're holding onto one of these $1 million babies. First, grab a magnifying glass or your phone camera, zoom in on the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If the letters look doubled or fuzzy, you might have a double die. Next, look at the date. If the 2014 is doubled or has weird shadows that aren't from your bad lighting setup in the kitchen, you could be onto something. Also check the overall condition. If it looks like it just came out of a fresh roll straight from the bank, you're in better shape. Most valuable coins are graded high on the Sheldon scale, usually MS-65 or higher. That's basically the mint state version of getting a gold star in kindergarten. Now let me tell you a quick story. I was once at a garage sale helping a buddy clean out his grandpa's old coin jars. We're talking jars so dusty they could have been props on a mummy movie. Anyway, I'm sorting through these coins and I find a 2014 penny with no mint mark. I set it aside just because it looked kinda clean. Well, fast forward a few weeks, I'm researching coins for the channel and I see a listing for that same penny selling for crazy money. I nearly choked on my microwaved burrito. I ran back to my junk pile, grabbed the coin and checked it with my loop. That's coin nerd talk for a magnifier. No doubling, sadly, but man, that moment, that little flash of what if is what makes this hobby so exciting. And don't worry, my friend still lets me help at his garage sales as long as I bring donuts. So let's say lightning strikes and you've got the $1 million penny in your hand. What next? First, don't go buying a yacht just yet. You'll want to send the coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will authenticate the coin and assign it a grade, which helps determine value. Once that's done, you can sell it through a reputable auction house or coin dealer. If you're into drama, you could even put it up on eBay with a bold title like "This penny could retire your GRNDMA." And please don't clean the coin. I repeat, do not clean the coin. I know it's tempting, but cleaning a valuable coin is like washing a vintage Star Wars toy with a toothbrush. You're not helping if this whole $1 million penny thing has lit a fire in your coin-loving heart. Then here's how to get started without going broke. Start by checking your change, especially from banks or cash-heavy businesses like laundromats, vending machines, or the coffee shop that still uses a register. From the ADS lookup known error lists for each year. Focus on pennies, nickels, and quarters. You'd be surprised how many rare coins slip into circulation unnoticed. And if you're really into it, hit up local coin shows, flea markets, or estate sales. You never know what might be hiding in an old collection someone didn't care about. So there you have it, folks, one little copper-colored coin that could literally change your life. The 2014 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, worth over $1.1 million, might still be out there hiding in plain sight. Just imagine turning a random trip to the gas station into a $1 million payday just because you checked your change. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more tips on how to find coins worth big bucks, then make sure You hit that subscribe button and smash that like button like you're trying to break open a piggy bank from 1992. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any hidden gems we uncover next. I've got more stories, more strategies, and maybe just maybe the key to unlocking your coin collecting fortune. Hey coin hunters, welcome back to the channel where pennies make millionaires and loose change could change your life. Now listen real quick before you toss the jar of old coins under your bed or down the coin machine at the grocery store. You might want to hit pause on that idea because today we're diving into one of the most surprising treasures hiding in plain sight, the 1962 D mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard me right, a humble little 1-cent coin from 1962 minted in Denver is now valued at a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. No, this isn't clickbait, and no, I didn't bump my head. This penny is the real deal, and by the end of this video you're gonna know exactly what makes it so special, how to spot one in your collection, and maybe just maybe how to turn pocket change into big bucks. So grab your coin jar, pop some popcorn, and get ready because we're going treasure hunting now. On the surface it looks just like any other penny you've probably seen 100 times. Lincoln's face on the front, wheat stalks on the back, or if it's a later version, the Lincoln Memorial. But in 1962 it was all about that classic memorial design. Here's the kicker: over 1.7 billion of these bad boys were minted in Denver that year. So how could one possibly be worth over $1 million? I mean, they were practically giving them away back then. Well, it all comes down to a few key things: rarity, condition, and some weird little quirks that make collectors go absolutely bananas. Some of the most valuable 1962 D pennies out there have insane mint errors. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even some struck on the wrong planchet. That's like printing a $20 bill on notebook paper. You see one and you just know it's not right. There's a story floating around of a guy who bought a bag of old pennies at a yard sale for $5, and inside was a 1962 D penny with a super rare double die error, perfect condition. Boom. $1 million fine. Now he didn't go quit his job right away, but let's just say his car suddenly got a lot nicer. Ever heard the term MS67 or MS68? That's mint state grading talk, and if your penny looks like it just came fresh off the press, you're in business. The higher the grade, the higher the payday. A 1962 D penny in near perfect uncirculated condition can fetch crazy money, especially when you factor in those rare errors. Let me put it this way: if your penny is so clean it could be used in a toothpaste commercial, you better get it graded by a pro. Coin collecting is having a serious glow up right now. People are digging through drawers, scouring estate sales, and watching videos like this one because the demand for rare coins is skyrocketing. It's like Antiques Roadshow meets American Pickers, but with pennies and more suspense. There are collectors out there who will drop six figures on the right coin, and the 1962 D penny with all the right features is like the holy grail for some of them. Okay, I gotta tell you all this. So last year I'm at this local flea market, just browsing, killing time, and I see this old beat up binder of coins for $10. I figure, hey, why not? Maybe there's something cool in there. I get home, flip through it, and boom, I find a 1962 D penny, shiny, beautiful, with a little doubling on the date. Now I'm no pro, so I send it in for grading, heart pounding like I just opened a golden ticket, and guess what? It came back MS66 red with a minor double die error. Now it's not quite $1 million coin, but it's still worth a few grand, and that binder is now framed on my wall like a family heirloom. Moral of the story: you never know where treasure is hiding. Alright, so what should you look for if you're hunting for that $1 million 1962 D penny that means Denver mint? Check for doubling on the date or lettering, some more repunch. Look for off-center strikes or planchet errors. The shinier the better. If you think you've got a winner, don't go selling it on eBay for $5. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, it's worth the investment. So there you have it, folks, the humble 1962 D Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin that could be your ticket to becoming a coin collecting legend. Who knew that the same penny we used to stick in gumball machines could now be worth over $1 million? The key is knowing what to look for and staying curious. Keep checking those pockets, your old jars, your junk drawers, because the next great discovery might be closer than you think. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just like the idea of turning pennies into piles of cash, do me a favor, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We've got tons more videos coming up on rare coins, coin hunting tips, and how to spot value where no one else is looking. Hey, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and everyone who's ever picked up a penny off the ground and thought, could this be the one? Today we're diving into something seriously wild. Something that'll make you check your piggy banks, couch cushions, and even that weird little junk drawer in the kitchen where batteries, paper clips, and mystery pennies go to retire. We're talking about the legendary, the mysterious, the potentially $1 million 1975 D Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. This unassuming little copper coin could be worth up to $1.3 million right now. That's more than most people's cars, houses, or student loans, and no, we're not messing around with Clickbait here. There's a very real reason this penny has collectors foaming at the mouth like a kid who found the golden ticket in Willy Wonka's chocolate bar. But before we jump in, let me hit you with a quick story. So a few years back I was at a garage sale, you know, the kind where you see a guy selling everything from vintage Playboys to lawnmower parts and a mysterious collection of coins and an old cookie tin. He found a few wheat pennies, bought the whole thing for $5 just for fun. I brought them home, got curious, did a little research, and bam, one of those pennies turned out to be worth over $100. Not life-changing money, but hey, that's like getting paid to eat tacos for a week. That's when I got hooked, and now you're here, which means maybe you're already hooked too, or maybe this is your first taste of the wild world of rare coins. Either way, buckle up, because the 1975 D Lincoln penny is a doozy. So what's the deal with this 1975 D Lincoln penny? Why is it worth over $1 million when most people wouldn't even bend over to pick one up off the street? The 1975 D penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark right under the date if your coin says 1975 and has a tiny D under it. Congrats, you've got one of the more common variants. But wait, before you chuck it in the coin jar, there's a rare twist coming up. Most 1975 D pennies are made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. That's normal, but here's where things get spicy. Few 1975 D pennies were struck on the wrong planchets, like leftover steel or even foreign coin blanks. These are called off-metal strikes, and they are crazy valuable. One example was found struck on an aluminum planchet which shouldn't even exist in 1975. That's like finding a unicorn in your backyard eating your begonias. So how does one of these humble coins reach a value of $1.3 million? Well, it comes down to rarity, condition, and collector frenzy. If your 1975 D penny looks like it just rolled out of a time machine from the mint, fresh, shiny, and uncirculated, you're in luck, especially if it's graded as MS67 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. That grade means your coin is practically flawless. It's like the George Clooney of coins. Collectors go bananas over errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. So if your 1975 D penny looks a little off, don't toss it. That could be a jackpot hiding in plain sight. Some 1975 D pennies have what's called a doubled die obverse. This means the front of the coin shows a slightly doubled image, especially in the date or the word liberty. That kind of error is a collector's dream, and it sends the value skyrocketing. Now you might be wondering how these errors even happen. Isn't the mint like super careful? Well, yes and no. Remember, these coins were being pumped out by the billions in 1975, and humans were still heavily involved in the process. Mistakes happened, especially during die creation or planchet feeding, and sometimes a weird error coin slips through quality control. It ends up in someone's pocket, gets tossed in a jar and forgotten until some lucky person finds it decades later and ends up on the news buying a Tesla with a single penny. So where should you look for one of these magical coins? Easy, anywhere and everywhere. Check your change, dig through old piggy banks, raid your grandparents' coin collection, with permission of course. Go to garage sales, flea markets, estate sales, and antique shops. You never know where one of these treasures is hiding. Get yourself a cheap jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. Seriously, it's a game changer. You'll feel like Sherlock Holmes solving penny mysteries. And if you think you found something special, don't clean it. Just don't. Coin collectors would rather kiss a porcupine than buy a clean coin. It destroys the value faster than pineapple on pizza divides a room. Get it graded instead. If it comes back with a high grade or a verified error, then congratulations, friend, you might just be sitting on a 6 or 7 figure payday. So I was at a coin show once chatting with this older guy who looked like he could have been Lincoln's cousin, and he pulls out a binder and goes, "Wanna see something cool?" Inside was a 1975 D penny struck on a silver dime planchet. I kid you not, it was smaller than a normal penny and shiny like a vampire in a YA novel. He said he bought it for $5 in the 80s and now it's valued at over $1 million. Moral of the story: keep your eyes open. The next big find might be waiting in your own collection. The 1975 D Lincoln penny might look like just another coin, but the right one in the right condition with the right error could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.30 million. So the next time you get change at the grocery store or you're cleaning out the drawer full of randomness, take a second look at the dates, check the mint marks. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you found this video fun, helpful, or even mildly entertaining, then do me a solid, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss a chance to learn about coins worth big bucks. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or want to know about another year's hidden gems. I've got tons more tips, stories, and secrets coming your way, so don't miss out. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay coin crazy, and remember, hey there, fellow coin hunters, penny pinchers, treasure seekers, and accidental collectors who found a coin in the couch cushion and now think it might be worth a fortune. You're in the right place, and today, oh boy, do I have a story for you. What if I told you that a plain old 1979 D penny, yes, the kind you flick off the counter or find stuck to the bottom of your car mat, could be worth a staggering jaw-dropping, can you even believe it, $1.4 million? That's right, $1.4 million. For a coin you probably ignored while digging for a quarter in your cup holder, stick with me because we're diving deep into the world of the 1979 Abraham Lincoln penny, what makes it special, why collectors are freaking out, and how you might just have a tiny copper jackpot in your possession. And yes, there's a personal story that involves me, a vending machine, and a life-changing realization that coins are basically metal lottery tickets. Let's rewind a little. It's 1979. Disco was dying, bell-bottoms were gasping their last breath, and the Denver Mint was busy stamping out billions of Lincoln pennies. Now you might be thinking, wait, if they made billions of these things, why would one be worth $1 million? And that's a solid question. Most 1979 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, which honestly feels kind of disrespectful to Mr. Lincoln's legacy, but a rare few, and I mean very few, are hiding some juicy secrets. Some of these pennies were struck with errors, minting mistakes that turn average coins into collector gold. Think double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional metal planchets. Fancy words, I know, but hang tight, we're breaking it down. Types of errors that make this penny worth millions. So first we've got the famous double die. That's when the coin is stamped twice but not quite in the same spot. Think of it like trying to stamp your name with a shaky hand after 3 cups of coffee. The result, a coin with doubled letters or numbers, and collectors go bananas over it. Then there's the off center strike. This one's easy to spot because it looks like the coin just barely made it into the machine. Imagine a lazy coin just lounging on the edge, getting barely smacked by the press. Boom. Error, coin jackpot. And perhaps the most mysterious and valuable is the transitional planchet. That's a fancy way of saying the coin was struck on a metal blank from the wrong year. For example, a 1979 penny struck on a 1980 blank, or even a leftover silver dime blank from previous years. That's when the value skyrockets. Now let's talk about the big boy, the actual 1979 penny that sold for a mind-blowing $1.4 million. It was a near-perfect example of a double die with a sharp off-center strike and was struck on a rare planchet made from an experimental composition. It was graded by a top-tier coin grading service at MS-68, which basically means it was as close to perfect as you can get. For something that got slammed in a machine, there's only one known to exist in this condition, which makes it the holy grail for penny collectors, kind of like the One Ring of Lincoln pennies, just hopefully without the evil wizard vibes. Okay, story time. So a few years ago I was broke, like eat instant noodles for dinner broke. I was standing at a vending machine trying to get a pack of peanut M&Ms because life was hard and sugar helps, and I realized I was short 10 cents. I did the classic pocket pat down, checked the change tray, and lo and behold I found a dusty penny. It was a 1979 I remember thinking, thanks Lincoln, but what am I gonna do with this? I ended up trading it for a dime from a friend who was tired of me ranting about M&Ms. Later that night I got curious, looked up the coin, and found out about the $1 million version, and I swear I could hear tiny violins playing in the background. So yeah, I might have eaten those M&Ms, but I potentially passed up on $1 million penny, so now I check every single one I find, and so should you. Look for doubling on the date, especially the 9 and the 7. Look closely at the word liberty and in God we trust. Those letters should be crisp, but if they look like they've had one too many shots of espresso and are slightly doubled, bingo. Feel the weight. If it feels heavier or lighter than a typical penny, that might mean it's on a transitional planchet. And most importantly, check the condition. A shiny perfect penny is worth a lot more than one that's been through a washing machine and run over by a skateboard. If you think you've struck gold, or copper in this case, your next step is to get it graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC are the big dogs in the grading world. They'll authenticate your coin and give it a grade from 1 to 70. A high grade means high value. We're talking thousands, hundreds of thousands, or yes, even millions. Once graded, you can auction it off through sites like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers, and who knows, maybe next week you're not watching coin videos, you're relaxing on a beach sipping something fruity with a tiny umbrella in it, all thanks to Honest Abe. Alright folks, let's bring it home. If you've got a jar of old coins, a stash in your glove box, or even a 1979 penny sitting on your dresser, now's the time to check it. You never know when a coin worth 1 cent could be your ticket to 1.4 million. Remember, coin collecting isn't just for old men with magnifying glasses, it's for anyone who likes a little mystery, a little treasure hunting, and a lot of potential payoff. And hey, if you found today's video fun, helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, then hit that subscribe button, smash the like, drop a comment telling me your favorite coin find, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on another money-making metal tip. I've got more juicy coin secrets coming your way, rare finds, crazy values, and strategies to build your own treasure chest, one penny at a time. Hey coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into gold mines. Now before you throw that penny jar out or use it to buy gum, hear me out. What if I told you there's a 1964 penny out there, no mint mark, looks just like every other penny in your junk drawer, and it could be worth a jaw-dropping, life-changing Lamborghini buying $1.50 million? Today we're diving deep into the legendary 1964 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's making collectors go Bananas, so buckle up, grab a drink and maybe a magnifying glass, cause who knows, maybe you're sitting on a small fortune and don't even know it yet. Alright, so let's talk about the 1964 Lincoln penny. We all know it, it's that coppery little coin with good ol' honest Abe looking slightly annoyed, probably from being shoved in couch cushions for decades now. In 1964 the US Mint produced billions of these pennies, I'm talking enough to fill a football stadium with copper. So what makes one of them worth more than $1 million while the rest are just rolling around in old sock drawers? So here's the deal, most 1964 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark back then, so you won't see a little D or S under the year. Some of these coins were struck using error dies or had rare characteristics like being struck on the wrong planchet or having a double die that gives them collector superstar status. Imagine going on a blind date expecting May and ending up with a supermodel. That's what coin collectors feel when they find one of these bad boys. Now let me tell you a quick story. About 10 years ago I found an old jar in my grandma's attic, you know, the kind all dusty, full of buttons, pennies and the occasional mystery crumb. I am digging through it hoping for gold bars because I was broke and hungry, and boom, I see this 1964 penny all beat up, but something about it looked kinda OFF. I didn't know much about coins at the time, so what did I do? I did what every rational adult would do. I Googled, is this penny worth anything? While eating cold pizza. Spoiler alert, mine wasn't the $1 million one, but the thrill, the what if, it got me hooked. I've been coin hunting ever since, and man, I've learned a lot. Alright, here's where we get practical. If you have a 1964 penny, here's what to look for: any crazy misprints or off-center. Your eyes might miss what tech can catch. 5 bonus tip: if it's in mint condition, uncirculated and shiny, that's $. Right there. If you see one of these signs, hold on to that penny like it's your favorite snack at 2 a.m. Now let's talk about the actual 1964 no mint mark penny that hit that $1.5 million mark. It was discovered in pristine condition with an extremely rare mint error, something so special that experts were losing their minds over it. It had a double die obverse, plus it was struck on a rare planchet likely intended for a foreign coin. Basically it was a hot mess that collectors drool over. This penny was graded by a top-tier grading company and went to auction, where collectors battled over it like it was the last PlayStation on Black Friday. Okay, now let's address the elephant in the piggy bank. Why would someone drop $1.5 million on a penny? It's all about the story, the history, the fact that something so ordinary turned out to be extraordinary. Also, let's be honest, coin collectors are just as passionate as sneakerheads or comic book fans, except instead of Air Jordans they get excited over slightly crooked letters and shiny metal discs. That little 1964 no mint mark penny in your change jar might just be your golden ticket, so go check your coins, look at those dates, zoom in on those details, and who knows, you might be the next person we talk about in a $1 million coin story. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up because every like helps us reach more treasure hunters like you, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about coins that can change your life. Literally. Drop a comment below if you found anything cool, or if you just want to tell me your favorite coin story. I love reading them, and who knows, maybe I'll feature yours in a future video. Alright, I'm off to dig through some more pennies. Catch you in the next one, and remember, every coin has a story and yours might just be worth $1 million. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into treasure and dusty old coins into big time bank. If you're new here, you might want to grab a magnifying glass and a jar of pennies, because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you see every penny you've ever tossed in a jar or left in your car cup holder. And yes, you read that title right, there's a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny out there that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Not even joking, 1.6 for a penny, a single copper coin. So before you dump your change in the Coinstar machine, stick around because you might just be sitting on a mini fortune and not even know it. And let me tell you how I found out about this. You see, one day I was cleaning out my grandpa's garage and I stumbled on this old dusty Folgers can labeled good pennies, and I was like, come on grandpa, what's a bad penny? Little did I know one of those so-called good pennies would pay for half my car, but more on that later. Let's dive in. What exactly is the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and why are people flipping out about it? 1980 shoulder pads, mustaches, disco, still trying to hang on, and the US Mint churning out billions of pennies with good ol' honest Abe on the front. Now here's the thing, most pennies minted in 1980 were made in Philadelphia. Mint coins from Philly don't carry a mint mark, which is totally normal. So you might be wondering, how the heck is a no mint mark penny from Philly worth $1.5 million? See, most 1980 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. They're basically coppery brown little discs that turn green if you leave them in your washing machine. But some rare specimens were struck using a misaligned die or had an off-center strike. Others were struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Imagine expecting a penny and getting a dime's body with Abe's face on it. Wild. Right now, the famous 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for $1.6 million wasn't your run of the Mill penny. It had what collectors call a mint error. Specifically, this bad boy had an incredibly rare double die-obverse translation. Abe's face and the lettering on the front looked like it had been printed twice, like he sneezed halfway through being minted. Collectors go nuts over that kind of stuff. Add to that the fact it was in pristine condition, like not a single fingerprint or scratch you could eat off this penny if you were tiny and into that kind of thing. It was graded MS67, that's mint state 67, which is basically like the penny version of a supermodel. Now, why does this matter? Well, most of us toss our coins into jars or drop them in drive-through trays without thinking twice, but someone out there looked closely at this coin, realized something was off, got it authenticated, and became millionaire. So let's break down how you can spot one of these bad boys yourself. Step 1: pull out your loose change. Yup, right now go check your couch cushions, under your car seat, the bottom of your backpack. Heck, I found one wedged in a drawer behind a stack of unpaid bills. Look for a 1980 penny with no mint mark. That's the easy part. Is Abe's face kind of ghostly looking? Are the letters in Liberty or In God We Trust slightly doubled? Is the penny way shinier than it has any right to be? If yes, you just might have something special. Now let me tell you another story. A friend of mine named Jamie once laughed at me for spending 2 hours looking through a mason jar full of pennies. She thought I'd lost it. She even brought me snacks like I was doing a marathon or something. But guess what? I found a 1980 no mint mark penny with a weird smudge on Abe's cheek. Said it didn't get it appraised. It wasn't the $1 million one, but I sold it for $800. You think Jamie laughed after that? Nope, she brought her own jar the next weekend and joined in. We made a game out of it. Now her kids call me Uncle Pennywise. The point is, these coins are out there, and not just the 1980 one. There are valuable coins hiding in plain sight. You just need to know what to look for. A simple penny can be worth more than your entire coin jar. It's not about luck, it's about knowledge and a little curiosity, and maybe a magnifying glass the size of a dinner plate if your eyes are like mine. Also, for the love of copper, don't clean your coins with ketchup or baking soda. You'll ruin their value faster than you can say oops. If you think you have a valuable coin, take it to a professional appraiser or submit it to a grading company like PCGS or Anchor. They'll tell you if you've struck gold or well, copper. There you have it, the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the most unexpected millionaire makers in pocket change history. So next time someone tells you a penny isn't worth picking up off the ground, tell them about Abe's $1 million makeover. Tell them about the collector who turned a simple cent into 1.6 million. Tell them about how you're about to be the next big coin boss. Now, if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just want to see me dig through more old jars like a caffeinated raccoon, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a chance to cash in on some coin knowledge. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts coming your way. Hey there, coin hunters and couch change checkers, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just be your secret fortune. If you're new here, I'm your go-to coin nerd, and today we've got a wild one to talk about. This isn't your average penny. We're diving deep into a coin that looks boring at first glance but could be your ticket to $1 million payday. Yep, I'm talking about the unassuming 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You've probably seen it 1,000 times or maybe spent one at the gas station last week for gum, but one rare version of this little guy recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. $1.7 million for a penny. I've literally found one in my couch and probably flicked one across the room during a boring Zoom call. I mean, who hasn't? So let's get into how this ordinary-looking coin became the Cinderella story of the coin world, how you can spot one yourself, and what makes it so ridiculously valuable. Alright, let's kick this off with some background. The 1987 penny features good old Abe Lincoln looking sharp as ever on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing out of the ordinary there, right? Wrong. See, most 1987 pennies have a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but every now and then one sneaks into circulation without a mint mark at all. That's where things get interesting. Now, not all no mint mark pennies are valuable. Some are just regular Philadelphia mints, because back then Philly coins didn't usually have mint marks anyway. But here's the kicker: there's a particular batch of 1987 no mint mark pennies that have some very unique characteristics, a certain combination of metal content, strike quality, and die errors that make collectors go absolutely nuts. These rare beauties are believed to be a result of a limited minting error, where a batch intended for experimental use or testing was mistakenly released into circulation. No mint mark, a different composition, and in some cases slightly off center or with a doubling effect in the lettering, which numismatists call a double die. Alright, I know what you're thinking, that's cool and all, but why is it worth $1.7 million? Well, it comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. There are fewer than 10 known in near mint state with the exact combination of features, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The fewer there are, the more people want it, and the higher the price climbs. Now let me tell you a quick personal story. I was at a garage sale a few years ago when this older gentleman was selling a jar of pennies for $2. The jar had to have at least 300 pennies, so I'm thinking, hey, maybe I'll find a wheat penny or two. Little did I know I was in for a coin collector's jackpot. I took the jar home, popped it open, turned on some music, and started sorting them out. My cat was watching me like I had completely lost it. By the way, cats are not helpful coin sorting assistants, so I'm about 200 coins in when I spot a Shiny 1987 no mint mark penny. It looked a bit different. It had this crisp strike. The lettering looked off and it was weirdly heavy. I took it to a local coin shop and the guy's eyes went wide. He literally dropped his coffee and whispered, "Do you know what this is?" Fast forward a few weeks, it gets graded and authenticated, and turns out it wasn't the $1 million version, but it still fetched me a cool $1,200. Not bad for a $2 jar. And a curious cat moral of the story: you never know what treasures are hiding in your spare change or old piggy bank. So if you've got a 1987 penny with no mint mark, here's what you want to look for. Number 1, no mint mark under the year. That's key, but not enough on its own. Number 2, check the weight. A normal penny after 1982 should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is closer to 3.1 grams, it might be a leftover bronze planchet, and that's a good sign. Number 3, look for doubled die features on Liberty or the date. Any extra thickness in the letters could mean you've hit the jackpot. Number 4, get it graded. Seriously, don't clean it, don't drop it, don't turn it into a lucky necklace. Just get it looked at by a pro like PCGS or NGC. Also, quick tip: coin rolls or treasure chests. Grab a box of penny rolls from the bank and start hunting. You'd be surprised how many gems are still floating around out there. Some folks have found rare coins in customer wrapped rolls just sitting there waiting to be discovered. And if you've got kids or grandkids, this is a fun way to teach them history, math, and the joy of finding something valuable in the least expected places. Plus, it beats another round of screen time. Alright, folks, so let's recap. We started with a regular looking penny, the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln cent, and discovered it could be worth up to $1.7 million. That's enough for a new house, a car, and a lifetime supply of peanut butter and jelly, or whatever floats your boat. The key takeaways are: check your change, pay attention to small details, and always do a bit of research before you spend that next penny. You never know what tiny treasure might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to smash that like button, tap that subscribe, and ring the notification bell, because we've got tons more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and maybe even more cat-related coin chaos. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want help identifying something in your collection. I love hearing your stories, and hey, maybe you'll be the next $1 million penny finder. Hey everyone! Have you ever thought that you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it? Well, let me tell you, there's a very good chance you are, especially if you have a 1973 D Lincoln penny lying around. Yep, you heard that right. A coin worth a whopping $1.8 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll break it down for you: why this penny is worth so much, what makes it so special, and how you might just have one tucked away in your pocket. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to check every pocket, drawer, and old change jar around your house. So, grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into the world of valuable coins. This is going to be a fun ride. Bell bottoms are in, rock and roll is booming, and the world is loving the good old Lincoln penny. But little did people know back then, some of these pennies were about to become a goldmine. Fast forward to today, and the 1973 D penny is one of the coins that could be worth a lot more than you might think. And now, let me hit you with the big question. What's so special about a 1973 D Lincoln penny? Why is it fetching $1.8 million at auction? First things first, it's important to understand how a coin like this could be so valuable. In the world of rare coins, it's not just about age. While the 1973 D penny might not be ancient, it's not like finding a 1793 penny or anything. It's about the details. The minting process, the condition, and most importantly, the rarity factor all play into how much a coin can be worth. The 1973 D Lincoln penny is valuable mainly because of the minting error that occurred with it. Specifically, there are some pennies from that year that were struck with a die that caused certain features to be either misshaped or out of place. These subtle imperfections, which were considered mistakes at the time, are now exactly what collectors want. It's like buying a pair of jeans with a little tear in the pocket and calling it vintage. Crazy how a mistake can turn into a treasure, right? Here's where it gets interesting. Most of the 1973 D pennies are your average, run-of-the-mill coins. They're worth exactly what you'd expect, 1 cent. But the ones with those minting errors? They're like the golden tickets of the penny world. One of those rare coins went to auction and sold for an insane $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. This penny could change your life if you happen to find one, and let's talk about that for a second. How does a penny go from being worth 1 cent to $1.8 million? Is there some kind of magic at play here? Well, not exactly, but there's certainly a lot of market demand for these rare errors. People who collect coins don't just want the regular stuff, they want the quirky, oddball coins that stand out. It's like when you're at a yard sale and you find that one vintage item that everyone else has overlooked. Suddenly, that item isn't just a thing collecting dust, it's a coveted gem. That's what the 1973D penny is to collectors, but hold on, let me share a little story with you. So, a few years ago, I was going through some old change I'd accumulated over the years, because, let's face it, we all have that jar of pennies somewhere. I found a 1973 penny, and I thought, hey, this could be worth something. But, spoiler alert, it was not a 1973D error coin. It was just your typical penny. And guess what? It went straight into my coin jar where it continues to live its average penny life, but, oh, if I had only known then what I know now. It got me thinking, there must be tons of people out there who don't realize they might be sitting on a literal fortune. And that's why I'm here. To share these little known gems with you, so you don't make the same mistake I did. Okay, back to the coin. So, what's the big deal about this particular penny? Why should you care? Well, let me break it down for you in the most simple way possible. Rarity. You know how you're always on the hunt for something rare and unique? Like finding that limited edition toy or a vintage band tee from a concert you never went to? Well, the 1973D Lincoln penny with the minting error is like that. The rare, special version of an otherwise common coin. Condition is key. A 1973D penny in pristine condition is much more valuable than one that's been banged up, covered in dirt, or has been in circulation for decades. If you happen to have one in mint condition, you're holding on to something that could fetch you a pretty penny, pun intended. Market demand. There's an active community of collectors who go crazy over coins with unique errors. These folks are always on the lookout for their next big find. So, if you happen to find one of these rare 1973D pennies, there's a good chance you could make a pretty penny yourself. Well, the 1973D Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of pocket change. If you happen to find one with the right error and in great condition, you could be looking at a small fortune, $1.8 million, to be exact. How crazy is that? But here's the deal, if you don't know what you're looking for, you might miss it. That's why it's so important to be aware of these valuable coins and know how to spot them. And hey, don't feel bad if you don't have one lying around. There are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting to be discovered. Before I sign off, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. Go through that old change jar, look at your 1973 pennies, and see if you have a potential goldmine on your hands, because I'm going to keep bringing you more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and strategies to help you make money with your coin collection. I don't want you to miss out on any of the action. And hey, if you find a 1973D penny worth $1.8 million, don't forget to come back and drop a comment letting me know. Maybe you'll be the next big success story. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential paydays. If you've ever tossed a penny aside thinking it was just 1 cent, well, today's episode is gonna make you rethink everything, because we're talking about a 2006 mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard that right, over $1 million for a coin you might have stepped on in a gas station parking lot. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you exactly why this coin is worth so much, how to spot one in your own change, and what to do if you think you've got a little treasure hiding in your couch cushions. Plus, I've got a story about how I almost threw one away without even knowing it. Alright, let's dig in, starting with a little background on the 2006 Lincoln penny. Now I know what you're thinking, 2006 wasn't exactly the Stone Age, it was just yesterday in coin collecting years, so how on earth is a modern penny worth more than a luxury car? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and error coins. That's the holy trinity of coin collecting, and the 2006 Lincoln penny hits all three. So first things first, the D mint mark means it was made in Denver, not a rare mint mark in itself. But here's the twist, not all 2006 pennies are created equal. There's a rare error version where the penny was double struck or even struck on the wrong planchet, meaning it was stamped on a blank meant for a different coin. Imagine putting a pizza on a tortilla and then baking it. That's what happened here. Now let's talk value. Regular 2006 pennies are everywhere. You probably have one in your car's cup holder covered in gum wrappers, but a specific 2006 penny in near perfect condition and with that ultra rare error sold for $1.1 million in a private auction. Let me say that again in case you were sipping your coffee and choked. A penny 1 cent sold for $1.1 million. This coin had all the goods. It was graded MS69 by a top grading service, almost flawless, and featured a striking double die error, and because hardly any exist in that condition, collectors went absolutely bananas over it. Now here's where it gets personal. A couple years ago I was cleaning out a drawer in my kitchen. You know the one I'm talking about, that drawer full of rubber bands, dried up pens, dead batteries, and exactly 47 coins that smell faintly of old pennies. I was tossing coins into a jar when one caught my eye. It had this weird shimmer and a Double image on Lincoln's face. I almost tossed it, but something told me to hold on to it. I looked it up and turns out it wasn't the $1,000,000 penny, but it was still worth a few $100. Ever since then I've been hooked, checking every coin that passes through my hands like I'm Indiana Jones searching for the Ark of the Numismatic Covenant. So how do you know if your 2006 penny is the golden goose one? Sharp bold doubling on Lincoln's eye, or the date, especially if it looks like he stayed up all night watching Netflix. Two coins with odd metal coloring or the wrong thickness could mean it was struck on the wrong planchet. 3 no visible where sharp edges and full original luster. That's what coin nerds call it freshman shine. 4 get it graded if it looks odd or perfect, or both. Send it to a professional grading service. $1,000,000 is worth the $50 grading fee, trust me. Also avoid cleaning your coins. That's like taking a vintage Rolex and scrubbing it with steel wool. Just Dante, let's talk market demand. The coin world is full of people ready to drop serious cash on rare finds, especially newer rare coins, because they're unexpected. It's like finding a first edition Harry Potter book in your attic while searching for Halloween decorations. So yeah, there's real money out there waiting in your loose change. If you think coins are just for vending machines, think again. I mean, can you imagine going to buy a stick of gum and accidentally handing over $1,000,000? That's the kind of oops moment that haunts you in your dreams. So to wrap things up, the 2006 Lincoln penny may seem ordinary, but in the right condition and with the right error, it's anything but ordinary. It could be a life-changing find hiding right under your nose or between your couch cushions or in that mystery drawer we all pretend doesn't exist. Coin collecting isn't just for old guys invests anymore. It's for anyone who wants to turn spare change into smart investments, and hey, maybe even a little fun along the way. If you liked this video and want more tips on valuable coins to look for, how to identify them, and stories of people who cashed in big, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a weird or interesting coin. I've got tons more content coming up about coins worth real money, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Hey folks, let me hit you with a wild one right off the bat. Imagine reaching into your car's cup holder or your couch cushions and pulling out a single penny that's worth more than a Lamborghini. Yep, you heard that right. Today we're diving deep into the 2021 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how one of these bad boys could be worth up to $1.2 million. That's not a typo, that's 6 zeros for a single 1-cent coin. So sit tight, grab your coin jar and maybe a snack, because we're gonna unpack the mystery, the madness, and the moolah behind this crazy coin. Before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story that'll make you laugh, cry, and then go dig through your spare change. Alright, so picture this. A couple of years ago I was at my cousin Mikey's barbecue. He's one of those guys who'll invite you over for burgers but make you flip your own. Then halfway through eating a hot dog with more mustard on my shirt than in my mouth, I saw his little nephew running around with a handful of pennies. He was flinging them around like confetti, and I'm just sitting there like, buddy, that's not Chuck E. Cheese tokens. One of the coins hits me in the knee. I pick it up and there it is, a 2021 penny with a shiny Mint mark. I kept it mostly because I was bleeding emotionally from that mustard explosion, but also because I have a weird obsession with coins. Fast forward to last month, I'm organizing my change like a total nerd and I come across that same penny. Long story short, it got me down the rabbit hole, and oh boy, what I found will blow your socks off. So here's what's up with the 2021 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint, hence the D right. But what makes this little copper-colored cutie worth $1.2 million? Well, not every coin is created equal, and this one had a little extra magic sprinkled in. First, let's talk about mint errors. These are like the typos of the coin world. Sometimes the die isn't aligned properly, sometimes there's a double strike, sometimes they use the wrong metal, sometimes the coin is just straight up having a bad hair day. If your 2021 penny has one of these rare quirks, congratulations, you're potentially sitting on a fortune. One of the most valuable types of these is the double die error. Look closely at the date or the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If they look a little fuzzy or doubled up, that's not your eyes playing tricks. That could be the rare variety collectors go nuts over. Add pristine condition into the mix, and baby, you've got a stew going. Now let's talk about grading. Coins are like wine. The better they age and the fewer imperfections they have, the more valuable they become. If your penny looks like it just left the mint like yesterday and it's been chilling in a velvet pouch instead of riding shotgun in your glove box, it could be what collectors call mint state 67 or higher. That's collector gold. So who's paying $1.2 million for a penny? Rich people. That's who. Some collectors have the money and passion to hunt down the rarest of the rare. One such penny sold at auction recently, and let me tell you, the bidding war looked like a reality TV show. There was drama, suspense, and a whole lot of gasping from coin nerds like myself. But let me be clear, not every 2021 penny is worth millions. You're more likely to find a regular one worth well a penny, but if you find one with an error and in pristine condition, you've hit the jackpot. So don't go quitting your job just yet, unless your job is literally coin hunting, in which case you keep doing you treasure hunter. Alright, now here's the $1,000,000 question, pun fully intended. How can you find one of these treasures? Step 1, check your spare change. I'm serious, don't underestimate the power of the junk drawer. Step 2, grab a magnifying glass or use your phone camera, zoom in and look closely at the coin's date, lettering, and design. If anything looks funky in a good way, you might have a Winner also get familiar with how real errors look. There are tons of fakes out there, trust me, I've fallen for one before. Bought what I thought was a rare off-center strike penny from some guy on the internet who turned out to be selling novelty items from a vending machine. The coin literally said made in China and had a smiley face on the back. I still keep it as a reminder not to trust. Greg from Craigslist. Now if you think you've got something special, send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These are the experts who can give your coin a proper evaluation and certification, just like getting a diploma, but for your penny. And if it checks out, you could be looking at a life-changing pile of cash. And hey, if you're wondering why the Lincoln penny in particular gets so much attention, here's a fun little fact. It's one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Honest Abe has been chillin' on that copper throne since 1909. That's over a century of pocket change fame. Respect. Alright, let's recap. So far you got your 2021 D penny. You're checking for mint errors, especially double dies or off-center strikes. You're looking for pristine condition and maybe getting it graded. If all those boxes are ticked, you could be looking at 6 or even 7 figures for your 1-cent investment. Let me throw in another tip. Join some online coin forums or local collector groups. You'll learn fast what to look for and what's total bunk. Plus it's full of people like me who love to talk about money that doesn't spend like money because it's too valuable to spend. It's like having a secret society, except instead of weird rituals, we just obsess over shiny things. Alright folks, we've covered a lot today. We laughed, we learned, we even imagined being slapped by a millionaire penny. All in all, a good time, right? So here's what I want you to do. Grab that coffee jar, the one that's been collecting coins since before TikTok existed. Sort through those coins like your life depends on it, because who knows, that one little penny hiding in there could be your ticket to millionaire status. And if you love content like this, stories about rare coins, hidden treasure, and how to turn pocket change into big bucks, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Smash it like your cousin Mikey smashing burgers on a grill that's clearly too small for the party. Tap the bell so you never miss out on coin tips, news, and the occasional coin-related dad joke. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a weird-looking coin, or if you just want to say hey. And remember, the next time someone tosses a penny your way, you might want to catch it, because it could be the most valuable thing you ever catch in your life. Hey, coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where your pocket change just might change your life. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever dropped a penny and just let it roll under the couch like it owed you money? Yeah, same. But what if I told you that one of those little copper guys, specifically a 1979 D mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, is out here flexing with a value of $1.3 million? That's right, $1.3 million for a single penny. Let that sink in. That's $1 million penny just chilling, looking like every other one you've probably ignored for years. It's like Clark Kent hiding in your junk drawer. In today's video, we're diving deep into the secrets of the 1979 D Lincoln penny, how it got so valuable, what to look for, and of course, how you can tell if you're sitting on a fortune or just another face-down coin of disappointment. So buckle up, grab a magnifying glass, and maybe rummage through your couch cushions while we talk, because this episode might just make you rich, or at least way more excited about loose change. Alright, story time. So a while back, I was visiting my grandma, the kind who always has those dusty old coin jars and every single appliance from the 70s still working. I'm sipping my iced tea, half listening to her telling me about how butter used to cost a nickel, when I noticed this rusty little penny stuck under a vase. I pick it up just because I'm curious like that, and it hits me now at that point, I didn't know it was worth anything. I just thought, it's kinda old. I tossed it in my jacket pocket, went home, and forgot about it for like 3 weeks. Then one day I'm watching a coin video. Yes, I watch coin videos too, and the guy mentions the 1979 D penny worth over $1 million because of a rare error. I sprinted to my laundry pile like a man on a mission, dug out that jacket, and pulled out that penny. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the $1 million one. But ever since then, I've been obsessed. Most 1979 pennies are, well, just pennies. But a few of them are basically coin royalty. What makes the difference? If you flip that penny over and see a little D under the date, congrats, that means it was minted in Denver. Most of them are common. But a few? Oh baby, a few of them came out with super rare mint errors that make collectors foam at the mouth. Now here's the juicy part. Some 1979 D pennies were struck twice or had misalignments that caused doubling on the letters, especially Liberty or I in God We Trust. If the doubling is visible and clear, that's the kind of mistake worth celebrating. If your 1979 D penny is scratched up like it's been through a cheese grater, it's probably not gonna hit that $1 million mark. But if it's mint state or proof-like, meaning it's shiny, crisp, and looks like it just came from the mint, you're in business. We're talking grades like MS65 and higher. And get this, one of these pennies in nearly perfect condition sold at auction for over $1.3 million. Someone actually paid 7 figures for a coin that could fall through a sidewalk cracked clean, shiny 1979 D penny with no error equals maybe a couple bucks. Rare error version, mint condition, professionally graded equals up to $1.30 million. Look for that little D under the ear. Get out a magnifying glass or just zoom in with your phone camera and check for any doubling on the letters. Especially LIBRTY. Look at the surface. If it's shiny, free of scratches, and has strong details, that's a good sign. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll give it an official grade and help you sell it for top dollar. Now, here's a fun fact: back in the day, the US Mint wasn't exactly perfect. They were churning out millions of coins every day, and sometimes things slipped through. It's those tiny mistakes, those weird little flaws, that now make certain coins so valuable. A flawed coin being worth more than a perfect one? Almost like life. Deep thoughts from a coin nerd. Now I know what you're thinking. I probably don't have that kind of penny. I mean, what are the odds? Well, let me tell you, people find rare coins in the weirdest places. Junk drawers, garage sales, even in tip jars. One guy found his $1 million penny in a roll of coins he got from the bank. Imagine walking in with 50 bucks and walking out with a coin worth a house. Moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when fate's gonna drop a jackpot in your hand. The 1979 D Abraham Lincoln penny might just be the most exciting thing you've ignored in your wallet. With rare errors and high-grade versions hitting auction prices of $1.3 million, this little copper coin has officially entered the Coin Collector Hall of Fame. So next time you get change at the gas station or dig through an old coin jar, take a second look. That penny might just be your golden ticket. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or it made you laugh even a little bit, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and ring that bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming tips on coins worth money, rare finds, and treasure hunting strategies you can do right from home. And don't forget to share this video with a friend, especially that one friend who always pays in cash. You might just help them discover $1 million penny. Hey coin hunters and curious minds, welcome back to the channel where loose change might just be your golden ticket. If you've ever tossed a penny aside thinking it's worthless, you might want to sit down for this one, or better yet check your couch cushions, because today we're talking about a plain little coin that's turning heads in the collector world. Yep, I'm talking about the 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and buckle up because this bad boy is worth a whopping $14 million. That's right. Not 14 cents, not even $1,400 bucks, $14 million for a single coppery coin you might have used to scratch a lottery ticket or prop up a wobbly table leg. And trust me, you don't need a monocle or a secret vault to get in on the action. Anyone can find one, and I'll show you exactly what to look for, so stick around, because by the end of this video you'll be staring at every penny like it's a winning lottery ticket. So, what's the deal with this 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny? And why is it making collectors go bananas? Well, first of all, no mint mark means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which typically doesn't stamp a mint mark on its coins. That part's not super special, but here's where things get juicy. The 1993 no mint mark penny that's worth $14 million isn't just your run-of-the-mill pocket change. It's got a combo of extreme rarity and insane error in pristine condition. Imagine a unicorn that tripped and fell into a pot of gold during a solar eclipse. That kind of rare. Now legend has it that only a handful of these super valuable 1993 pennies were accidentally struck on the wrong planchet. That's the metal disc used to make coins. Basically, someone at the mint was having a rough Monday and fed in a blank intended for a different coin like a dime or even a foreign coin. And to make matters even crazier, these coins were struck perfectly. The design was crisp, the details were sharp, and they didn't get all scratched up in circulation. So when a few sharp-eyed collectors found them, they hit the jackpot. Now let me pause for a second and tell you a quick story about how I got into this whole coin collecting madness. A few years back I was visiting my grandma and helping her clean out an old drawer. We're talking receipts from 1982, expired cough syrup, and a Ziploc full of random coins. I'm flipping through them out of boredom when I spot this odd-looking penny. It looked shinier than the rest, and Lincoln's head was slightly off-center. I took it home, googled it, and bam, it was a 1983 double-die penny worth a few $100. After that I was hooked. I started checking every penny I came across. I became that guy at the vending machine fishing for coins like a raccoon digging through a trash can, and that's how I found out about the infamous 1993 no mint mark penny. Now back to business. How do you spot one of these $1 million beauties? First, grab a magnifying glass, or if you're under 30, just use your phone's zoom feature. Next, look for the absence of a mint mark below the date, easy peasy. Now here's the kicker, check the weight. A normal 1993 penny should weigh about 25 grams because by then they were made mostly of zinc with a copper coating, but the valuable error versions are sometimes struck on copper planchets left over from pre-1982 pennies. Those weigh around 31 grams. If your 1993 penny has no mint mark and weighs over 3 grams, you might be onto something. Also check the edges, they should be smooth and clean. If they look weird or like they were stamped off center, that's another red flag or green flag depending on how you look at it. The one that sold for $14 million was in nearly perfect condition, graded MS-70 by a professional grading service. That's basically the holy grail of coin grades. Not a scratch, not a nick, not even a smudge from someone's breakfast burrito. And you know what's wild? It was found in circulation, just chilling in the wild, ready to be scooped up by someone with an eye for treasure. So if you've got a piggy bank full of pennies or a drawer you haven't cleaned out since the 90s, it's time to get digging. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. The 1993 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look plain and boring, but don't judge a book by its copper cover. This little guy could be your ticket to a new house, a dream vacation, or a lifetime supply of tacos. All you need is a good eye, a bit of patience, and maybe a little luck. So here's your homework. Go check your change jar, your car's cup holder, your old wallets, whatever coins you've got laying around. Give them a second look and you just might be sitting on a fortune. And if you found this video helpful or even mildly entertaining, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe to the channel because I'm dropping more coin tips, tricks, and treasure hunts that could turn your pocket change into paychecks. And hey, leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you're going to start checking your pennies. Now I want to hear your stories. Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Have you ever stared at your spare change, wondering if you're holding onto a small fortune without even knowing it? Well, you might just be closer to $1 million than you think, and today, I'm talking about the 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth, drumroll, please, $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.5 million. And no, I didn't pull that number out of thin air. Stick around, because I'm going to break it down for you in a way that even your grandma would understand. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into the world of rare pennies. Now, let's get into it. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny is not your everyday pocket change. You see, most of the pennies you'll come across today are from the regular 1976 series, and they all have that little mint mark somewhere on them. But this one? The one we're talking about today, it's special. It's got a little secret, no mint mark at all. So, what does this mean for you, the lucky coin collector or casual spender just scrounging through your change jar? Well, let me explain. The mint mark tells you where the coin was made. If there's no mint mark, that's a clue that this penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. But it gets better. There was a mistake, a rare error, where some of the pennies produced that year didn't get their mint mark. And because mistakes like this are so uncommon, it's what makes them valuable. Finding a 1976 no mint mark penny is like stumbling upon a four-leaf clover. Sure, it's possible to find one in your pocket change, but it's pretty rare. And when you do find one, you're sitting on a potential gold mine, or, well, a copper mine. Now, before you get too excited and start checking your couch cushions, keep in mind that not all 1976 pennies without a mint mark are worth millions. The condition of the coin, known as its grade, is crucial. If it's been sitting at the bottom of your pocket or in a dusty drawer for decades, well, it might not fetch that $1.5 million price tag. But if you've got a coin in pristine condition, even the slightest bit of wear could decrease its value by thousands. It's like buying a vintage car, right? The better it's preserved, the more it's worth. Speaking of finding rare things, let me tell you a quick personal story. A while back, I was going through a drawer at home and found a ton of old coins, mostly pennies, nickels, and dimes, all worn and tarnished. And honestly, I had no idea what they were worth. But one day, I found a 1964 quarter buried under a pile of old receipts. I thought, oh cool, a quarter. Big deal. Then I Googled it. Turns out, that quarter was worth about $25, which for me, was like hitting the jackpot. And I didn't even need a metal detector. So, I've been on this coin hunt ever since, trying to find my own $1 million penny. And let me tell you, if you've ever thought, there's no way I'll find something rare, think again. Just last month, I found a 1994 penny in my change that I later sold for a decent amount. It wasn't $1.5 million, but hey, every little bit counts. So, here's the deal. If you're lucky enough to find one of these 1976 no mint mark pennies, here's what you need to look for first. Make sure it's an actual 1976 penny. There's a lot of fake rare coins out there, so be careful. Check the date. A penny in great shape, without any visible wear or scratches, will always fetch a higher price. Third, look for authenticity. You don't want a fake. You can get your penny appraised by a professional or take it to a trusted coin dealer, and don't forget the most important thing: keep your coins safe. Store them properly, preferably in a protective holder, so they don't lose their value. So, there you have it. The 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny could be worth a cool $1.5 million if you get lucky enough to find one in great condition. But don't be discouraged if you don't have one just yet. The key is to keep looking. You never know when that next coin flip could turn into a jackpot. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on how to spot rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You'll get all the latest info on coins that could change your life, or at least give your wallet a nice boost. And hey, if you've ever found a coin that turned out to be worth more than you thought, share your story in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever found yourself staring at a penny and thinking, could this little guy be worth a fortune? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into a coin that's doing exactly that, the 2016 D-Mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard that right, a penny from 2016 could be worth $1.6 million. It's not a typo. It's not some far-off fantasy. It's a real possibility, and I'm going to tell you how you can spot it. So, grab your magnifying glass, and let's get into it. I know, you're thinking, it's just a penny. Well, let me tell you a little secret. Pennies, like people, can sometimes be more than meets the eye. They can be rare, they can have a mistake, or they can be in amazing condition. And that's exactly what makes this particular penny stand out. Now, most of us are used to finding pennies in the bottom of our couch cushions or scattered across the sidewalk, barely giving them a second thought, right? But not every penny is created equal. In 2016, there was a specific batch of pennies minted in Denver that went on to become extremely valuable, and it's all because of a little minting error. It's what coin collectors call a strike error, and it's one of the reasons this penny could fetch upwards of $1.6 million at auction. Well, during the minting process, some of the 2016 D pennies got struck with a flaw that made them look a bit different than the rest. In simple terms, they were minted imperfectly, and those imperfections created a major demand among collectors. If you've got one of these bad boys, it could be sitting in your change jar or hidden in a drawer right now, but here's where it gets even crazier. If you do find one of these pennies, it's not just any old penny. We're talking about the kind of penny that could get you more than your rent for the month. We're talking serious cash. But how do you even know if you have one of these valuable coins in your pocket? Here's where I'm going to tell you a little story about myself. One time, I was just casually flipping through some old change, doing what we all do, right? And I stumbled upon a coin that looked a little different than the others. It didn't seem like anything special at first, just a regular penny. But I was feeling lucky, so I decided to check the year, flip it over, and bam! It was a 2016 penny with that distinctive Denver mint mark. Now, I didn't immediately jump for joy. It wasn't until I compared it to some of the photos online that I realized the imperfections that made it so valuable. Of course, mine wasn't one of those rare, mint-condition specimens worth a fortune, but it reminded me of something important. When it comes to coins, you've got to take a second look. Always. So, how do you really tell if your 2016 D penny could be worth $1.6 million? First, you've got to check the condition of the penny. The most valuable ones are in pristine, almost flawless condition. You want one that's shiny, has clear details, and isn't beat up from being tossed around in your pocket for years. And next, the error. These are the pennies that have a noticeable strike flaw. They might have a weak or incomplete image of Lincoln, or even some other strange marks on them. If it's just a regular 2016 D penny with no error, you're looking at a coin that's worth, well, a penny. But if it has that special flaw, you could be holding on to something worth a small fortune. Seriously. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it's worth it. Even if you don't think your pennies are worth much, the 2016 D Lincoln penny is proof that it's always good to check again. And who knows? That random penny in your change jar could be worth more than you ever imagined. The 2016 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth a staggering $1.6 million. Crazy, right? I bet you'll be checking your pockets a little more carefully after hearing that. But before you go digging through your change jar and rushing to the nearest coin dealer, remember, it's all about knowing what you're looking for. Pennies can be a hidden treasure trove, and with the right knowledge, you could uncover a true gem. But if you learned something new today and want more tips on spotting rare coins, saving money, or making some serious coin, pun intended, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more where this came from, and trust me, you won't want to miss out on future tips. Keep your eyes peeled and your change jar ready, you never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. Hey, coin collectors! Imagine stumbling upon a penny in your pocket and thinking, this is just a regular coin. But what if I told you that this penny could be worth $1.7 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Today, we're diving into the world of the 2014 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that may look like just another penny, but in reality, could be your ticket to a serious payday. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be checking every penny in your pocket. Trust me, you'll want to hear this one. How many of you have looked at a penny and thought, what could this possibly be worth? I'm raising my hand, because not long ago, I found an old penny on the sidewalk. I picked it up and thought, meh, probably nothing. Big mistake. If only I knew back then that some pennies are worth way more than a cup of coffee. Grab a seat, and let's talk about why this specific penny is worth so much. Get comfy, because we're about to turn your change jar into a treasure chest. So, first things first, let's set the stage. The 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is one of those coins that sneaks up on you. It looks so unassuming at first glance. It's got Abraham Lincoln's face, the classic penny look, nothing fancy. But, here's the kicker, most of the pennies we find today have a mint mark. You know, that little D or S on the coin, which tells us where it was made. But this one? No mint mark. Zero, nada, zip. It's because in 2014, the US Mint accidentally produced a handful of these pennies without the mint mark, which isn't supposed to happen. Mint marks tell us where a coin was struck, usually Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, but in this case, it was a fluke. It's as if you went to a fast food place, ordered a burger, and they accidentally gave you a gold nugget instead. Whoops, but hey, I'm not complaining. Coins with errors or variations, like this one, are rare and highly sought after by collectors. In fact, it's this rarity that pushes the value of this penny way beyond its face value. The 2014 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, which originally had no notable value, now has some serious collector clout. And if you happen to have one sitting in your collection or even in your loose change, it could be worth a cool $1.7 million. Yeah, no typo there. Million. So, if you're carrying around a penny right now, hold on to it. You might be sitting on a small fortune. Let's talk a little about how this coin ended up being so valuable. There's a bit of controversy behind this coin. Some say it was just an error, others think it was intentionally done as a design flaw to create a limited run piece. The truth? Well, it's still up for debate. But the bottom line is that people are willing to pay a pretty penny, pun intended, for it. With a value that high, it's become one of the most talked about coins among collectors, but here's where it gets interesting. Finding a 2014 no-mint Mark penny in circulation today is like finding a needle in a haystack. And don't go thinking you're going to find one on every corner. If you ever do stumble upon one, it'll be a big win. But even if you don't have one right now, there's still hope. These pennies are sometimes sold at auctions or online, and if you're patient, you can nab one at a good price. Just be careful not to fall for any shady deals. I mean, there are people who will try to pass off fakes, so make sure you know what you're looking for before you spend big bucks. Now, you might be wondering, how do I spot a 2014 no-mint Mark penny if I happen to come across one? Great question. It's all about checking the obverse, the front of the coin, where Lincoln's portrait is. Look for the usual design, but instead of the mint mark, you'll notice it's missing. The back will look like any other penny, but that front? That's where the magic happens. So, next time you're flipping through your change, give that little penny a good look. It might just be the one that changes everything. I hope you're now going to treat every penny you find like it could be worth millions. I know I will. Imagine, just one penny, no mint mark, could be sitting in your change jar, waiting to make you a fortune. If that's not motivation to start checking your pockets, I don't know what is. Before we wrap this up, here's the deal. If you want to learn more about coins, how to spot valuable ones, and the best ways to build your collection, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll keep you up to date with more tips, tricks, and, of course, coins worth way more than you probably think. I'm talking about tips that can make you a coin expert in no time, and maybe even a coin millionaire. Hey, it could happen, right? And remember, as much as we'd love to find millions in our pockets, it's also the journey of coin hunting that's super fun. So, get out there, start hunting for that treasure, and who knows, the next penny you pick up could be your big break. Alright, let me ask you a question. How much is that penny in your pocket worth right now? Probably not much, right? I mean, unless you've got a 1993 D mint mark Lincoln penny, in which case, stop what you're doing. You could be holding $1.8 million in your hand. Wait, what? Yeah, you heard me right. That humble, everyday coin could be worth more than your car, your vacation, and maybe even your house. Don't believe me? Well, buckle up, because we're diving into why that coin is worth more than a stack of gold bars. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Jack, and today, we're going to talk about a little penny that could, the 1993 D mint mark Lincoln penny. This coin is blowing people's minds and bank accounts. By the end of this video, you might just be looking at every penny you come across a little differently. So, grab your magnifying glass, a cup of coffee, and let's uncover the secrets behind this rare treasure. Okay, before we dive into the money part, let's talk about the history. The 1993 D mint mark penny was part of the standard circulation of Lincoln pennies, and it wasn't anything special at first glance. I mean, how many of you have a pocket full of these? They're not exactly something you'd get excited about, right? But that's where the magic happens. Somewhere between 1993 and now, a few of these pennies were produced with a rare mistake that's causing collectors to go absolutely nuts. We're talking about errors in the die that made these pennies more valuable than you could ever imagine. Is this some sort of coin hoax? It's not. In fact, a 1993 D mint mark Lincoln penny, depending on its condition and the mistake on it, could easily be worth $1.8 million. That's no typo, my friend. This is the real deal. People are paying big bucks for this coin, and if you're lucky enough to find one in your change, you might just strike it rich. But here's the thing, it's all about the details. If you have one that's in mint condition or features a die error, it can easily become the holy grail of your collection. The typical 1993 D penny is worth just a couple of cents. But, and here's where it gets interesting, the error versions have been known to sell at auction for hundreds of thousands, or in some rare cases, millions. It's all about how the coin was made, what errors it carries, and if it has the perfect look for a collector's dream. Now, let me share a quick story. A few years ago, I found a coin in my change that I was sure was worth something. I had this gut feeling that it was special, but when I looked it up, I found out it was just another regular old penny. Bummer, right? But then, I found out that a friend of mine had discovered a rare mint error coin from the 90s, and it sold for over $200,000. Can you imagine? I had almost tossed a penny like that in the jar, thinking it was worthless. That moment made me realize just how important it is to pay attention to the details. So, if you've got a 1993 D penny lying around, or even better, a whole jar of them, here's the thing, don't just throw them away. Get them checked. You might have a small fortune in your pocket, and I'm not talking about the kind of fortune that buys you a coffee at Starbucks. Now, let's talk about how to spot one of these rare 1993 D mint mark pennies. Here are the key things you'll want to look for. First, it's gotta have that D. If it doesn't, then it's not the right one. Look for any strange imperfections, like doubling, misstrikes, or the infamous off-center issues. Those errors are what make these pennies so valuable. The better the condition, the more valuable it'll be. If it's practically pristine, you're looking at a potential jackpot. The best way to really know if you've got a valuable penny is to get it graded by a professional. They'll assess its condition and authenticate whether it's a rare find. You'd be surprised how much that certificate can add to the value. But if you think you've got a winner, you might be wondering, how do I sell it? Well, you can start by looking at online auction sites or contacting reputable coin dealers. There are many collectors out there who would pay a pretty penny, pun intended, for a coin like this. Just make sure you don't sell it to the first person who offers you $10. Do your research and know what it's really worth before you let it go. Alright, so now you know all about the 1993 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny and why it could be worth millions. Don't go running to check your pockets just yet, but when you do, take a minute to inspect those pennies like a pro. And hey, if you found something special, come back and let me know. I'll be over here trying to find my own lucky penny. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because we've got tons more tips and coin strategies coming your way. If you want to be the first to know when that rare coin you've got might be worth more than your car, you'll want to stick around. And hey, if you like learning about cool, valuable coins, give this video a thumbs up. Hey, coin enthusiasts! How many of you have rummaged through your change jar, hoping to find that one rare coin that will make you a millionaire? Yeah, me too. Well, today, I've got a treat for you. Imagine this: you find a coin in your pocket, and it turns out to be worth a whopping $1.1 million. No, this isn't some fever dream after a night of eating too many tacos. This is real. Today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1991 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. If you've got one of these, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Stick around, because I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this penny, its value, and how you could possibly turn it into cold hard cash. So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get into it. Well, not quite. You see, most pennies minted in 1991 have a mint mark that tells you where they were made. Typically, you'll see a D4 Denver or an S4 San Francisco, but this particular penny has, drumroll please, no mint mark at all. Zip, nada, nothing. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so it's missing a mint mark. Big deal, right? Actually, it is a big deal. When coins are missing a mint mark, especially ones that were supposed to have one, it creates a rare anomaly. Coin collectors go absolutely bananas for this kind of thing. It's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a field of 3-leaf ones, rare, special, and worth a whole lot more than you might expect. Well, here's where it gets interesting. The 1991 no-mint mark penny is the result of a production error at the U.S. Mint. Some pennies that were supposed to have the D mint mark for Denver accidentally went out without one. But here's the thing: when errors happen at the mint, they often turn into huge collector's items because they're rare. Like that one friend who always shows up late to the party, everyone talks about them, and they become the center of attention. That's this penny. You're probably asking, okay, but is it really worth $1.1 million? And to that, my friend, I say, yes. The 1991 no-mint mark penny has been known to fetch some serious dough at auction, and some have even sold for around $1.1 million. Let that sink in for a second: a penny worth $1 million. It's like winning the coin lottery, except it doesn't involve any scratching or fancy tickets. But hold your horses. Before you start pulling out all your change and flipping through your coins, there's a little catch. Not all 1991 no-mint mark pennies are worth that much. The condition of the penny matters big time. If your penny is in perfect condition, like it was just pulled out of the mint yesterday, then you're in the jackpot zone. If it's all scratched up, dinged, or dirty, the value drops considerably. So, make sure to give that little guy a careful look before you start dreaming of what you could buy with $1.1 million. Hint: you could buy a lot of tacos, and maybe even a house. Now, let's be real here for a second. You've probably heard a lot of mythical stories about people finding rare coins, and trust me, I've heard my fair share. I'll tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I found a 1982 penny in my old jacket pocket. I thought, this is it. I'm going to be rich. Turns out, it was just a regular penny, nothing special at all. But hey, I learned something valuable that day: always check your coins. That might just be the day you discover a small fortune hiding in your pocket. So how do you actually identify a 1991 no-mint mark penny? It's pretty simple. Grab your magnifying glass, or just hold it up to a good light. Look closely at the reverse side of the penny, where you usually find the mint mark near the bottom right. If there's nothing there, and you're pretty sure it should be there, remember, most 1991 pennies should have a D, then bingo. You've got yourself a coin to examine more closely. Keep in mind, it's gotta look right, no funny business with tampering or cleaning it. That's a big no-no in the world of coin collecting. Alright, so now you know all about the 1991 no mint mark penny and how it could make you $1,000,000 if you're lucky enough to have one in great condition. But here's the real kicker: not every coin will be a gold mine, and that's part of the fun of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt that never ends. The best part? You don't need a treasure map to find rare coins. You just need to be a little curious and keep your eyes peeled when you're going through your loose change. And now, if you're seriously considering hunting down rare coins, or if you just want to know more about valuable coins worth money, I've got your back. I post videos all the time with tips, tricks, and strategies on how to find, evaluate, and sell coins like a pro. So, if you enjoyed today's video and want to stay updated on all things coin collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and ring the bell so you never miss a future update. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Have you ever wondered if that pile of loose change sitting at the bottom of your drawer could be worth more than just a cup of coffee? Well, if you've got a 1971 Lincoln penny tucked away, you might want to take another look. That small, humble coin, with the S mint mark, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny could be worth a fortune. Stick around as we dive into why this penny is so valuable, and I'll even share a personal story that might just make you check your change more carefully from now on. We all know that the Lincoln penny has been around for ages, since 1909 to be exact. But the 1971 penny is a little bit special. It was minted in San Francisco, and here's the thing: it's not just a regular penny. Sure, it might look like every other penny at first glance, but there's something magical about it, something that makes it stand out from the crowd. This penny is rare, and that's what makes it so valuable. You see, it's not just about the year or the mint mark. The real kicker is its unique features, particularly its high-grade condition. Most of the 1971 pennies are actually pretty common and are worth just a few cents. But, if you find one that's in mint condition, and I mean pristine, near perfect condition, it could fetch a staggering $1.2 million. Talk about a small coin with a big punch, right? How am I supposed to know if my penny is worth this much? Great question. Well, here's the deal. The key is to look for a 1971 penny that's in uncirculated or MS65 grade or higher. These are coins that have never been in circulation, so they've been kept in perfect shape. If you've got one of those, you could be holding on to something that could change your financial life forever. Or rather, where it gets tricky. You can't just grab any old 1971 penny and expect it to be worth a fortune. These pennies need to be in stellar condition. We're talking no visible wear or scratches, and the details should still be sharp and crisp. In short, if your penny looks like it's been through a few decades of pocket change and got stepped on a few times, well, it's probably not going to make you a millionaire. But don't worry, it's still worth checking because you never know. And hey, just because your 1971 isn't worth $1 million doesn't mean it's worthless. Even in average condition, these coins can still fetch a decent amount. We're talking anywhere from a couple of dollars to maybe even a couple hundred depending on the grade. But it's the high-graded coins that are the real goldmine. Okay, I've got to share a quick personal story with you. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's old house, and I stumbled across a jar of pennies. I had no idea what I was looking at, just a bunch of old coins. But, being the curious collector I am, I decided to look them up. And what do you know? Among the pile was a shiny 1971 Lincoln penny. It wasn't in perfect condition, but I figured it was worth more than face value, so I sent it off for grading. Turns out, it wasn't worth $1.2 million, but it still brought in a nice chunk of change. Moral of the story? Never underestimate what you might find when you're going through your change. Sometimes, what seems like junk could actually be a treasure. How do you know if your penny is worth more than a few cents? First, check that mint mark. If it's an S, you've already got a step in the right direction. Second, examine the condition. If it looks brand new, you might be sitting on a goldmine. And don't forget to get it graded. A professional grading service will give you a clear idea of how much your coin is worth. I know, it sounds like a lot of steps, but trust me, it's worth it. So, next time you're rummaging through your change or digging through those old coin jars, remember that 1971 penny could be worth far more than what you're expecting. If you find one in pristine condition, who knows? You might just be the next lucky person to hit the coin jackpot. But hey, even if you don't find $1 million penny, don't be discouraged, there's always another rare coin waiting to be discovered. And now, if you're excited about finding out more coins that could make you rich or just want to learn some tips and tricks about coin collecting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of content coming your way, and who knows, the next video could be the one that teaches you how to spot your very own hidden gem. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting. Who knows, maybe your next lucky find will be worth a fortune. And before I go, just remember this, it's not just about coins, it's about finding the unexpected treasure that could change everything. See you in the next video, folks. Hey there, coin lovers. Have you ever wondered if your old coins are worth more than their face value? Well, today I've got a real treat for you. Imagine finding a coin worth over $1.3 million just sitting in your pocket. Sounds like a fantasy, right? But trust me, there's one little penny that has made some lucky collectors an absolute fortune. I'm talking about the 1980 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and let me tell you, it's a game-changer in the world of coin collecting. Now, before you start diving into your penny jar thinking you're about to strike it rich, let's break down what makes this specific penny so special. Stick with me, because this is going to be a fun ride, and I promise, no dry coin talk here. So first things first, let's talk about why the 1980 no-mint Mark penny is such a big deal. You see, most pennies you find today are either made with a mint mark, like the DRS, or they're completely plain, with no mint mark. The mint mark tells you where the penny was made, either in Denver, San Francisco, or Philadelphia. But what happens when there's no mint mark at all on a penny from 1980? That's when you've got something really interesting. In 1980, the US Mint made a small number of pennies with no mint mark at all, and these were typically from the Philadelphia Mint. Now, don't get me wrong, most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, like you'd expect. However, a very few of them are incredibly rare, and that's where the value skyrockets to over $1.30 million. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're scrolling through your Facebook feed one evening, sipping on some cold iced tea, and your phone dings with a notification. It's a post from a local coin group, and the first sentence reads, "Found a 1980 no-mint mark penny in my change today. It's worth $1.3 million. Yeah, right, I've heard that before. But here's where it gets interesting. These rare pennies can be worth that much because of a combination of factors. First, they're incredibly rare. Second, they have misprints that make them unique. And third, they're highly sought after by collectors who are always on the lookout for that one special piece to complete their collection. Now, let's go back to the whole no mint mark thing. The mint mark, or lack thereof, is a key factor. Normally, mint marks are stamped on coins during production, and they're an easy way to tell where they came from. However, this rare penny from 1980 slipped through the cracks. With no mint mark, it's like finding a hidden gem in a sea of pennies, and don't even get me started on the condition of these pennies. A penny in mint condition, without scratches or wear and tear, can fetch a seriously hefty price. If it's got that nice shiny luster and looks almost brand new, collectors go wild for it. So, if you've got one of these rare gems hidden in your collection, you might just be sitting on a mini treasure chest. Speaking of treasures, this reminds me of a funny little story from my own coin hunting days. I remember once, I found a penny under my couch cushion. It was a 1964 no mint mark, and I got all excited thinking I was about to be a millionaire. So, I did what any logical person would do. I ran straight to the coin shop, practically bursting with excitement. The dealer took one look at it, gave me a polite smile, and said, "That's a nice one, but it's not quite as rare as you think." My hopes were dashed in an instant, but hey, I learned my lesson, and that penny now sits proudly in my collection, but not at the price I hoped for. Now, back to the 1980 no mint mark penny. You've got to know that the true value isn't just about the year and the mint mark or lack of one. There's a whole community of collectors out there who are constantly hunting for rarities like this. So, if you stumble upon one, the key to getting top dollar is knowing its worth and finding the right buyer. It's important to point out, though, that this doesn't mean every 1980 penny is worth a fortune. Remember, condition is everything. If your penny looks like it's been through the washing machine a few times, which, let's be honest, some of them have, it's not going to be worth much. But if yours is in great shape, and you've got the no mint mark version, congratulations, you might just have a gold mine on your hands. The 1980 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny might not be the first coin that comes to mind when you think of rare finds, but for those lucky enough to have one in mint condition, it could be worth a cool $1.3 million. Whether you find it tucked away in an old jar or while flipping through your spare change, you'll want to hold on to it tightly and maybe even do a little happy dance. I hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable pennies. And hey, if you haven't checked your spare change lately, now might be the perfect time to start. Who knows? You might just find your own hidden treasure. Before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more awesome tips and coin strategies. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next video where I'll be talking about even more rare coins that could make you a fortune. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, nah, it's just a penny, it's not worth much, right? Well, guess what? You might be tossing away a small fortune without even knowing it. Stick with me, because today we're talking about one of those very pennies, the 1979 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. It's not just your average copper circle, my friends, it's worth a whopping $1.4 million. Yes, you heard that right. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into this shiny little treasure. Alright, before you start checking the bottom of your coin jar and rifling through your couch cushions, let's break it down. The 1979 no-mint mark penny, why is it so valuable? It all comes down to one simple thing, a little mystery. You see, most pennies, if you flip them over, have a mint mark right under the date. That's where the US mint stamps where the penny was made, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But the 1979 no-mint mark penny? It's an enigma. It doesn't have one. It's like the ghost of pennies. The absence of that mint mark makes it rare, and rarity equals money in the coin world. And now, you might be wondering, how did a missing mint mark cause such a stir? Let me take you back in time to 1979. The US Mint was just busy doing its thing, cranking out coins for everyday use. But a small mistake led to some unmarked pennies slipping through the cracks, literally. No one was paying attention, and in the midst of all the normal pennies, a handful of them were minted without the stamp of origin. These overlooked oddballs are the ones that are worth big bucks today. They're like the cool kids in high school that no one noticed until much later, and now everyone's fighting to sit at their lunch table. Think about it. You find an old penny from 1979, and you're like, well, it's just another old penny, right? It probably looks all tarnished and like it's seen better days. And then, bam, you find out it's worth $1.4 million? It's like finding out your old high school mixtape is now a classic album. Just mind-blowing. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 1979 no-mint mark pennies? First off, check that penny for the mint mark. If you don't see the little letter D or S, then congratulations, you might be holding on to a small fortune. But don't get too excited just yet, though. Just because you don't see a mint mark doesn't mean it's automatically worth millions. Condition matters too. We're talking about something in mint condition, pun intended. If your penny looks like it's been through a battle with a pile of gum and dirt, it might not fetch the same price. So, take good care of your coins. I actually had an experience with this exact situation. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale. I know, typical, right? And I found a small box of coins. The lady was practically giving them away. I just grabbed a few of them, because, hey, it's fun to collect coins. Fast forward to a few months later, I find out one of those pennies I picked up was from 1979 and had no mint mark. Now, I'm not saying it was worth $1 million, but it did open my eyes to just how much potential some of these everyday coins could have. Of course, it's now sitting in my collection, just chilling in a protective case like the little celebrity it is. But seriously, what makes this penny such a big deal isn't just the mint error, it's the story behind it. It's like the coin world's version of an urban legend. A little mistake that turned into something way bigger. And let's be real, in today's world, where everyone is looking for ways to make money, finding something like this can feel like winning the lottery. But you've got to keep your eyes peeled. So, if you think you've got one of these bad boys hidden somewhere, maybe tucked away in your old piggy bank or buried in your loose change jar, now's the time to take a closer look. Who knows, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But before you start running off to get it appraised, remember, authenticity and condition are key. There are lots of forgeries out there, and the last thing you want is to think you're rich only to find out that your penny's as valuable as, well, a regular penny. Alright, coin fans, I hope you've learned a thing or two about the elusive 1979 no mint mark penny today. It's just one of those fun, quirky pieces of history that can make your coin collection a whole lot more interesting and valuable. So, if you've got a 1979 penny lying around, don't just toss it in the jar with the others. Take a second to check it out. You might just find yourself holding onto a mini gold mine. And hey, if you do find one, remember where you got your info. Maybe even leave me a comment to let me know, so I can congratulate you. Who knows? Maybe you're the next coin millionaire. If you like this video and want more tips on rare coins and how to spot them, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss out on any of my future videos. I've got tons more strategies coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on any of them. Now, go check your coins. You've got a small fortune to find. Catch you in the next one. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Ever stumble upon a coin that's worth more than your car? Yeah, you might think that's a joke, but when we're talking about the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny, I'm dead serious. This little copper disc could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.5 million. Forget about your piggy bank, this penny is basically a gold mine wrapped in copper. Stick around because today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so valuable, and how you can spot one of your very own, so grab your magnifying glasses, because this is going to be one wild ride into the world of rare coins. But before we dive in, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was rummaging through a box of old coins I inherited from my grandmother. I was expecting to find the usual, maybe a few worn-out nickels, pennies, and some dusty dimes. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I noticed something that stopped me dead in my tracks. There, in the middle of the box, was a Lincoln penny. At first, I thought, meh, just another penny, but then I looked a little closer. This penny looked different, way shinier, way smoother, and definitely older. I had no idea what it was worth, but something told me it wasn't just a regular coin. I rushed to my local coin shop, practically holding my breath the whole way there. Turns out, it wasn't a 1966 no mint mark penny, but it was still worth quite a bit more than I thought. Moral of the story? Sometimes, that random penny in your collection could be hiding a small fortune if you know what to look for. Now, back to the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This penny's got a backstory that makes it even more fascinating. First off, in case you didn't know, a mint mark is that little letter stamped on the coin that tells you where it was made. For example, the D mint mark means it was made in Denver, and the S stands for San Francisco. But in 1966, something weird happened. The US Mint made a batch of pennies with no mint mark at all. Some folks think it was just an oversight, while others believe it was a purposeful mistake. Either way, these no mint mark 1966 pennies have become one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there. Well, not all 1966 pennies are worth that much. In fact, most of them are just your average penny, worth a penny. But the ones with no mint mark? They're like the unicorns of the coin world. There's a very limited number of these coins, which drives up their rarity, and with rarity comes value. The reason for their high price tag comes down to scarcity and the fact that not many survived in mint condition. The number of people who have these in great shape? Well, let's just say they're rarer than a four-leaf clover. It's all about the condition of the coin too. If you find a 1966 penny with no mint mark in pristine condition, like it just came off the production line, that's when you're talking real money. Coins with wear and tear? Not so much. But if that penny's been stored properly for decades, well, it might be time to do a happy dance and call your local coin appraiser. And now, let's talk about how to spot one of these elusive pennies. First, obviously, check the year 1966. But here's the kicker, the key is the absence of a mint mark. If there's no D or S under the date, that's your first clue. However, I gotta say, finding a 1966 no mint mark penny in your regular change? That's like finding a needle in a haystack. Not impossible, but definitely not something you should expect to see every day. You don't need to be a professional coin collector to find one of these hidden gems. With a little bit of research and the right tools, like a magnifying glass or a coin microscope, you can start inspecting your pennies with a lot more precision. If you're seriously into coin collecting, or even just want to find that one penny that makes you rich, having a good set of tools is a game changer. Trust me, I've had my fair share of missed opportunities, like that one time I tossed out a coin that turned out to be way rarer than I thought. Rookie mistake. Alright, folks, I hope you're as excited about the 1966 no mint mark Lincoln penny as I am. If you happen to find one, well, you might want to get it checked out by a professional, because you could be sitting on a small fortune. But here's the thing, finding rare coins isn't just about luck. It's about knowing what you're looking for, having the right tools, and understanding the market. Coin collecting can be a thrilling, and yes, profitable hobby if you play your cards right. Whether you're hunting for rare pennies or just trying to find coins worth more than face value, it's a journey you don't want to miss. So, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth big bucks, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on future videos, where I'll dive into more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding valuable coins. Maybe, just maybe, I'll help you discover that next $1.5 million penny hiding in your couch cushions. Who knows? Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Ever found yourself flipping through a box of loose change, wishing you could find that one rare gem that makes you a millionaire? Well, today's your lucky day. Because we're diving into a coin that is worth far more than its face value. Yep, you guessed it. We're talking about the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable it could make your wallet bulge with $1.7 million. Now, I know what you're thinking, is this guy serious? Oh, I am. Stick around, and I'll show you why this little penny is worth its weight in gold. Well, not literally, but you get what I mean. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. First, let's talk about why this penny is worth $1.7 million. It's not because it's made of solid gold or it was used by Abraham Lincoln himself to buy a sandwich. No, it's because it's an incredibly rare 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and when I say rare, I mean, like, finding a unicorn in your backyard rare now. We all know that most pennies are stamped with a mint mark, those little letters like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But, in 1987, the US Mint made a very oops move, a batch of pennies that didn't have a mint mark. It was as if someone at the mint forgot to press the stamping button, and they just let these little guys slip through the cracks. So now, when you find a 1987 penny without a mint mark, it's like finding a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory, only instead of candy, you get a 7-figure price tag. And here's the thing about the 1987 no mint mark penny, it's not just rare, it's also a gem in terms of its condition. A penny in mint state, aka looking like it just came off the minting press without a scratch, is a big deal. The better the condition, the higher the price. So, if you find one of these pennies in really great shape, you might be looking at that sweet $1.7 million jackpot, but hold up, this coin's worth isn't just based on rarity. It's about the history, too. Imagine, in a world where almost every coin has a mint mark, this little mistake sets it apart. Collectors love these kinds of oddities. I mean, I've seen people pay big bucks for weirder stuff. Like that time I bought an unlucky penny, you know, the one that looks like it was run over by a car. Turns out, there's a market for damaged pennies too, who knew? But anyway, I digress. Let's stay focused on the 1987 gem now. Let's be real for a second. We're all out there searching through change jars, pockets, and the bottom of couch cushions, hoping to find a little treasure. And guess what? I've been there too. I once found a nickel in a pile of dirt, and I swore it was going to be a rare 1913 Buffalo nickel. But nope, it was just a regular nickel. Still, I kept it, because hey, it's mine. It got me thinking, what if that penny I found in the parking lot was the 1987 no mint mark? I could have been staring at $1.7 million all along and didn't even know it. The point is, you can never be too careful with your coins. Well, here's where things get tricky. These pennies are rare, but not impossible to find. If you have a bunch of loose change from 1987, grab your magnifying glass, put on your best detective hat, and start hunting. It's like a mini treasure hunt in your own home. Look for the absence of a mint mark. It'll be located on the obverse, right under the date. If you've got the eye of an eagle, you might just score. Alright, now that you're all excited and probably heading straight to your change jar, let me give you a few takeaways before we wrap up. The 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is worth $1.7 million because it's a rare coin that was mistakenly released without a mint mark. And just like finding hidden treasures in your couch cushions, you can totally discover these gems yourself, but it takes some effort, patience, and, of course, luck.so. Before you go off searching for your $1.7 million penny, make sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks to find valuable coins worth money. And hey, if you do find a rare penny, come back and tell me about it. We'll share the excitement together. Maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next lucky coin millionaire. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep those pennies rolling in, and who knows, you might be the next one with a coin worth millions. Hey there, fellow coin chasers, welcome back to the channel where pocket change becomes potential payday. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into one of the sneakiest and most surprising little treasures hiding right under our noses. Yup, I'm talking about a humble looking penny, the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so ordinary at first glance you'd probably toss it in the tip jar or leave it stuck in your couch cushions. But here's the plot twist: this bad boy could be worth a mind blowing $18 million today. That's right, $1.8 million for a single cent. And if you're sitting there thinking, oh come on, it's just a penny, think again. This little copper legend might just be your golden ticket. So grab your coin jar, your magnifying glass, and maybe a caffeinated beverage, because we're about to go on a 40-minute journey that'll make you think twice before ever ignoring spare change again. Alright, so let's kick things off with a quick history lesson, but don't worry, I'm not going full boring textbook mode. This will be fun, I promise. So back in 1968 a lot was going on. The Beatles were still rocking bell bottoms, were in style, and the US Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies like nobody's business. But here's the juicy part: the Mint in Philadelphia didn't use a mint mark. That's why if you've got a penny from 1968 with no little letter under the date, congratulations, it came from Philly. Now you might be asking, okay cool, but why is this penny worth millions? Well, I'm glad you asked, friend. See, the thing about the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is that there are a few rare versions that were struck with incredibly high precision, like almost proof-like quality, even though they weren't proof coins. Add in some wild errors like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or weird planchet mistakes, and bam, you've got a coin that collectors are willing to fight over with their wallets. But here's the kicker: this specific variety, the one fetching $18 million in the current market, isn't just about rarity, it's about condition. You need that penny in pristine, almost uncirculated condition. Think of it like finding a 1968 Mustang that's never been driven in the rain. It's rare, it's beautiful, and people want it bad. So one day I'm digging through an old jar of coins at my grandma's house. You know, one of those cookie tins that definitely never saw a cookie, just coins, buttons, maybe a rogue safety pin. Anyway, I pull out this grungy looking penny and I'm about to toss it back in when I notice something weird. No mint mark. Curious, I grab a magnifier and start comparing it to pics online, and for like a full 10 seconds I truly believed I'd found the jackpot. I was about to name my future yacht Pennywise. Spoiler alert, it was not the $1 million one, but hey, it was still worth about $20, and a great reminder that these treasures really are out there hiding in plain sight. Now let's talk numbers. You're probably wondering, how do I know if my 1968 no mint mark penny is the golden goose? Here's what to look for. First, check for any doubling in the date or letters like Liberty or In God We Trust. If it looks like the text is doing the cha-cha slide, you might be onto something. Next, give it the OL shine test. Is it unusually lustrous for a coin that's over 50 years old? That's a good sign. Then take a look at the coin's surface. Any unusual bumps, ridges, misalignments, or errors might actually be what makes it valuable. Remember, in the coin world, mistakes are worth money. If only life worked that way, am I right? Now let's say you think you found a good one. What's next? Well, don't go running to eBay just yet. First, get it authenticated, send it to a grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll give it a grade from 1 to 70, and trust me, that number can be the difference between a coin worth 50 cents and a coin worth half your house. If your penny scores high, say a 65 or better, and it has the right characteristics, boom, you're in $1 million territory. But wait, we're not done. There's also the story behind why collectors want these coins so badly. See, coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a passionate quest, a hunt for perfection, rarity, and a little slice of history. And the 1968 no mint mark penny hits all those marks. Now here's a pro tip for my fellow treasure hunters: if you're digging through rolls of pennies from the bank, ask specifically for older rolls. The banks sometimes have these tucked away, and occasionally you'll score a roll filled with vintage gems. It's a numbers game, and patience is your best friend. Also, don't sleep on estate sales, garage sales, and grandma's attic. You'd be amazed at what people leave behind because they don't know what they have. And if you're wondering how many of these $1 million 1968 pennies exist, well, no one knows for sure. That's part of the magic, but experts estimate only a tiny handful are in that top condition. That's what makes them worth so much. One sold at auction recently for a whopping $18 million. Because it was virtually flawless, PCGS graded it MS67, which is coin speak for, holy smokes, this thing's perfect. So don't underestimate the power of the penny, folks. This isn't just pocket change anymore, this is potentially life-changing. Alright folks, we've reached the end of our copper-colored quest, and if you've made it this far, congrats, you are now officially more coin-savvy than 99% of people out there. Remember that the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny may look like any other coin, but under the right conditions it's a millionaire in disguise. So next time you're handed change at the grocery store or fishing coins out of your car's cup holder, take a closer look. You never know when Lady Luck might be hanging out in your spare change. And hey, if you learned something new today, or if you're planning to dig through your penny stash the second this video ends, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, like the video, share it with your fellow coin hunting friends, because here on this channel we're all about helping you find those hidden treasures, giving you the tips, tricks and stories to turn your pocket change into serious cash. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just be your spare mansion. If you've ever glanced at your pocket change and thought, man, it's just a penny, then buckle up, because today's video is gonna blow your mind. Picture this: you're digging through the couch cushions looking for the remote, and instead you pull out a 2017 penny. You shrug, toss it in the jar and forget about it. Well, what if I told you that little copper looking coin with a D mint mark could actually be worth a whopping $18 million? That's right, $1.8 million for a penny that most people wouldn't even bend over to pick up off the street. Today we're diving deep into the story behind the 2017 D Lincoln penny, what makes it so valuable, how to spot one, and how to avoid accidentally spending it on a pack of gum. And don't worry, we'll keep things fun, easy to understand, and I'll even throw in a personal story about how I once traded a rare coin for tacos. True story. Spoiler alert, I still think about those tacos. So grab your magnifying glass, your lucky coin jar, and maybe a snack. This is one coin you do not want to overlook. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is the 2017 D Lincoln penny? Well, it's a 1-cent coin minted in Denver in 2017, featuring the good old profile of Abraham Lincoln, who's been holding it down on the penny since 1909. But don't let its everyday look fool you. There's a rare version of this coin out there that collectors are absolutely losing their minds over now. Here's the kicker: the standard 2017 D penny is made of copper-plated zinc and has a face value of just 1 cent, but due to a rare mint error or unusual strike, a small batch of these pennies came out with defects or unique features that shot their value through the roof. We're talking die cracks, doubled dies, off-center strikes, and even a few made from experimental planchets. So what's the big deal with these errors? Well, think of it like a misprinted baseball card or a rare Pokemon card. The weirder the mistake, the more collectors want it. And when you throw in the fact that these minting errors are incredibly rare and almost impossible to find in perfect condition, the value skyrockets. That's how we end up with a 2017 D penny being valued at $18 million. Now, before you start frantically flipping your change, here are some things to look for. First, the D mint mark right below the date. That means it was minted in Denver, which is the only version that is shown up with these crazy valuable errors. Second, look for doubling. This means the lettering or numbers look like they have a shadow or duplicate layer. It's subtle but easy to spot with a magnifier. Third, check the rim and the edges. Some valuable versions are slightly off-center or have incomplete edges due to misalignment during the striking process. Fourth, be on the lookout for color. If your 2017 D penny looks extra shiny or unusually toned, like rainbow colors or a different metal hue, that's a sign of a rare composition. Now you might be thinking, come on, who's actually finding these things? Well, here's where my personal story comes in. A few years ago, I was at a local coin show just browsing around, and I overheard this older guy talking about how his grandson found a weird penny in a Walmart parking lot. He was gonna toss it, but the grandpa took a closer look. Turns out it was a rare 2017 D error penny. They sent it to a grading service and boom, came back as MS68 with a major die break. The thing sold at auction for over $1 million. The grandpa bought a boat, the grandson got a used Honda, and me, well, I went home and checked every single penny I owned, which turned out to be a total of $11.22, but no jackpot yet. And then there's my taco tragedy. I once had a 1992 close AM penny, which is also rare, but I didn't know that at the time. I was hungry, broke, and traded it for 3 street tacos and a soda. Best tacos of my life. Worst financial decision I've ever made. That coin later sold at auction for over $25,000, and to this day, every time I pass a taco truck, I shed a single tear. Back to the 2017 D penny though. If you think you've got a valuable one, send it to a reputable coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade it, which helps boost the resale value. Make sure to store it safely, preferably in a coin flip or holder and not in your sock drawer next to your old USB drives. Collectors and investors are constantly on the lookout for these rare errors because they appreciate in value faster than most stocks. Plus, it's just plain cool to say you're a penny millionaire. And if you're wondering how many of these $18 million babies are out there, the answer is not many, maybe just a handful. That's what makes them so valuable. Think of it like finding a golden ticket in your candy bar, except the ticket is metal and it can pay off your mortgage. Alright, coin hunters, that's a wrap. If you're still here, that means you're serious about finding treasure in your Change, and I respect that the 2017 D Lincoln penny might look like every other coin in your jar, but remember, sometimes the most ordinary things hold extraordinary value. So next time you get change back at the grocery store, take a second glance. That penny could buy you a car, a house, or hey, maybe even a taco truck. Just don't be like me, don't trade it for lunch. If you found this video helpful or at least mildly entertaining, do me a favor and hit that like button, it helps more than you know. And if you want to stay updated on more coin tips, valuable finds, and stories of everyday people cashing in big with coins, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell. You never know which coin could make you the next millionaire.